Chapter 5. A Little Chat with Peter. It was the chance of a lifetime, and Caroline and her sisters knew it. Mother was at the dentist, and they had Peter all to themselves. He was as gullible as a dry sponge. He'd soak up whatever they told him, but one squeeze, and he'd probably leak out all the Hatford secrets. Beth and Eddie were thinking the same thing because Peter had scarcely sat down at the kitchen table before there was an orange soda and a plate of cookies in front of him, with a little package of M&Ms on the side. "Tell me, Peter," said Eddie, "do your brothers always act like goons, or is it just around us?" "Well, sometimes. Peter seemed to be thinking it over, his mouth full of cookies. "Well, most of the time well, you know what? They won't even let me be in the Halloween parade with them, and I wanted to know if I could be in it with you." Caroline knew a trap when she heard it. She could see it, smell it, and so could Beth and Eddie. The three girls exchanged looks. Actually, they had just that morning discussed the matter of a group costume and decided to go as a centipede. 3 legs and 3 arms sticking out one side, 3 legs and 3 arms sticking out the other. 4 arms and 4 legs would be even better, but how did they know Peter was telling the truth? "Well, I don't know," said Beth. "We were planning to go as gypsies. Isn't that right, Eddie? I'm not sure you're such a good gypsy, Peter." "Oh, yeah, gypsies, right," said Caroline. "Sure, you want to dress up in bracelets and stuff, Peter?" "Huh-uh," he said, and took a long drink of orange soda. Caroline sat down on one side of him. "Why won't your brothers let you be in the parade with them?" "I don't know," Peter told her, and opened the package of M&Ms. Beth sat down on the other side. "I would think that 4 boys would have a better chance of winning the prize than 3. No answer. Eddie tried next. "It's easy to think up a costume if you're a boy. All boys have to do is put on old clothes and be bums or something. They hardly have to do any work." Said Peter. "We gotta cut holes in the bottoms of pumpkins for our heads to go through it." He stopped, looking suddenly confused. Caroline and Eddie exchanged triumphant glances. "Oh, I forgot," cried Peter. "That was last year. Yeah, that's what we were last year. Pumpkin heads. This year, we're going as pirates. Yeah, pirates. I forgot." "Sure, Peter. Right. Pirates are a swell costume. I bet that'll win first prize," smiled Beth. Looking much relieved, Peter grinned back and took another long drink of soda. He was so cute that Caroline almost wished he were her little brother. At the same time, it seemed foolish not to get all the information out of him that they could. "Peter," she said, trying to sound as motherly as possible, "if she were to become an actress, she would undoubtedly be asked at some time in her life to play the part of a mother. Tell me something. Why do your brothers hate us?" "They don't hate you," said Peter. "They just don't like you very much." "Oh, that makes me feel so much better," said Beth. Well, they like you, sorta, but you're not boys." "Oh, how dumb of us," said Eddie. "We're so sorry." Peter plowed on. "It's just that we like the Bensons better." "Can we help it if the Bensons moved away? Why take it out on us?" Peter thought that one over. "Well, see, if you go back to Ohio and the Bensons can't find anybody to rent their house to, then maybe they'll come back." "I get it," said Caroline. "Your baboon brothers think that if they make us miserable enough, we'll leave." Peter nodded. "But I don't want you to be miserable." "Of course not," said Eddie. "You just want us to leave too." Peter reached for another cookie. "Well, not exactly, because Wally doesn't want you to leave either." Caroline was genuinely surprised. "He doesn't?" "No, not yet. He said he wants you to stay in Buckman until we've done all the things we wanted to do to you, and then, well, oh, we understand perfectly," said Beth. Caroline sighed. "I guess we just can't win. No matter what we do, the boys will always get the best of us." "Right," said Beth. "Pirates will always win a costume contest before gypsies. But I can't think of anything else to be. Can you, Caroline?" As Beth put the cookies back in the pantry, however, Caroline followed her in. Listen, Beth, are you sure we shouldn't try to get Peter to be in our costume with us? 4 arms and legs would make an even better centipede, and he could be the tail. No, he'll give it away. Somehow he'd leak it to the others. Yeah, but think how great it would be if we win first place and Peter was on our side. Like we'd recruited him right out of their own noses. Better to keep him as a spy and not even let on that he is. No telling when we'll need him again, said Beth. They went back in the kitchen where Peter was finishing his drink, and when he put his glass down, he had a wide orange mustache above his upper lip. Thanks for bringing back my sock, Peter. Come over any time, Caroline told him. Okay, Peter said. And after that, he went outside, shuffled down the driveway, stopped to pick up an acorn, then another and another, filling his pockets with them and skipping on. Too bad he's a Hatford, said Beth, watching. It's great he's a Hatford. Don't you realize what a coup this is? A spy in their own camp. I'm sure those guys are going as Pumpkinheads. They sent Peter over here to make us believe they were going as pirates, and he let the cat out of the bag. This is more fun than I thought. You know what's going to happen, though, don't you? They'll win, said Beth. 4 guys with pumpkins on their heads will win over a centipede any day. A glum silence settled down in the room. Then there's only one thing to do. We've got to go over there before the parade and smash their pumpkins to bits. Eddie! Both Caroline and Beth looked shocked. That's playing dirty. And they weren't? Sending Peter over here to try to find out what we were going to be on Halloween? And Peter's story about being pirates, that was the lowest thing they could do. Still nothing. I'll smash their pumpkins myself. What if they keep the pumpkins in their house? I doubt it. Once you carve a pumpkin, it starts to stink if you keep it inside. We'd better make that centipede costume extra good just in case. In a way, Caroline wished that they were going as something other than a bug. A centipede was okay, but she wished it could be something a bit more dramatic. An aspiring actress she knew was constantly on the lookout for life experiences that enabled her to practice a role, and she didn't know of any plays or movies that would require her to play the part of a centipede. Still, if she were the head of the centipede instead of the tail... Could I be the head, she asked. Maybe we could tell a little story. Maybe the head of the centipede always wants to go one way, but the tail wants to go another. Or maybe the head of the centipede could be crying at... Caroline, for goodness sakes, do you have to turn everything into a catastrophe? Can't you just be a bug for once and... Well, maybe she has a point, said Beth. It's got to be a pretty unusual centipede to win first prize. Back in Ohio, their school did not have contests. There was a Halloween party every year, but no parade around the business district and no prizes for best costume. Caroline had dreaded moving to West Virginia because she thought it would be all mountains and cabins and coal mines, and here was a town with a college and a river and a swinging bridge, and, best of all, an elementary school with an auditorium and a stage. An auditorium with a stage and thick velvet curtains. Gold on one side, maroon on the other. Caroline knew, she was utterly convinced, that someday she would perform on that stage, and it wouldn't be as a centipede either. The door opened and Mother came in. She looked the same but sounded different, and when she poured a glass of water and tried to drink, water trickled out one side of her mouth. "Novocaine," she said. "I can't feel a thing." She looked around the kitchen at the empty glass and the cookie crumbs. "Looks like you've had a party." "A little welcoming party," said Beth. "For whom?" "Peter Hatford was by to pay a visit," said Caroline. "One of the Hatford boys? How nice. I think our 2 families got off on the wrong foot somehow. One of these days I'm going to bake them a pie to thank those boys for washing our windows. I think that would be a friendly gesture, don't you?" Caroline, Beth, and Eddie exchanged glances. "Maybe," said Caroline. "Maybe not."